and welcome to the Mount Clemens City Commission meeting. It is Monday, October 19th, 2020 at 7 p.m. We'll call the meeting to order. Everyone could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. We have Caleb Mallory from PAC. Oh, sorry. Now mine doesn't say which PAC. Caleb, can you unmute yourself and lead us?
Hi.
There you go. If you can lead us with the for the pledge, that would be great.
Okay. Put your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please. Campbell.
Here.
Fournier.
Here.
Goodenough.
Here.
Hammond.
Here.
Crop. Here. Benser.
Here.
Voorhees.
Here.
Thank you. Announcements, acknowledgements, communications, and report. Today we have an acknowledgement, a certificate of recognition for Boy Scout Caleb T. Mallory, who is doing an Eagle Scout project at the North River Road and northbound Gratiot. And so today we want to recognize him. I'm going to go ahead and read the actual certificate. Whereas Caleb T. Mallory, son of Mr. and Mrs. Matthew Mallory, is a resident of Mount Clemens and a member of Boy Scout Troop 1070. Sorry, I think it's 1407, isn't it, Caleb?
Yes.
Yeah, out of St. Margaret's of Scotland Catholic Church in St. Shores, Michigan, and has achieved the life rank Scout, soon to be a rank of Eagle Scout, the highest ranking in Scouting. And whereas Caleb has demonstrated his leadership ability by earning 23 merit and rank badges throughout his Scouting career, and whereas Caleb has completed his Eagle project, which was a major community service for Mount Clemens Beautification Committee, who provided him with the support to complete this project. And whereas Caleb uprooted the bushes that were once in the middle of the easement on Gratiot and North River Road and replaced it with a beautiful Welcome to Mount Clemens sign and garden area that can be festive for the entire year. And whereas this very special member of our community will be recognized in front of family and friends at a dedication ceremony on October 19th, 2020. Now, therefore, I, Laura Kropp, Mayor of the City of Mount Clemens, on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby congratulate Caleb Mallory for his outstanding achievement and am honored that he is a member of our community and wish him the very best with all his future endeavors. Signed, Laura Kropp, Mayor.
Thank you so very much. I super appreciate it, guys. It was amazing to do a project for my community, and I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to.
Thank you, Caleb. I mean, the project turned out wonderful. I mean, we hear about it all the time from residents who are now driving and see this beautifully landscaped sign instead of old bushes. So we really appreciate it very much. And I have to say that I had the pleasure of having lunch with Caleb after the dedication, and he is a terrific young man who gives people, I think, if you have the pleasure of sitting down and having a conversation with him, and it would give anyone hope for the future generation. So thank you very much, Caleb, and we really appreciate all of your efforts and look forward to your volunteerism in the future.
No problem. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank you as well. Okay, we also have the, moving on here. We also have the department reports. Are there any questions for any of the department members?
I just wondered where the fire department report was.
We didn't receive that one yet.
Mr. Johnson, will you make sure that once we get the fireman's report, you'll include that in the next agenda?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to adoption of the agenda.
Mayor Kropp, I move that we approve the agenda as printed.
Very good. Do I have a second?
Support.
So I have a motion by Mr. Voorhees, a support by Commissioner Fournier. Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodenough. Goodenough,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Menzer,
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Thank you. This is the portion of the meeting for public participation. What we do on a Zoom meeting is we ask that you get in line by giving us your first name. When we acknowledge you for your time to speak, we will ask for your full name. We will also ask for your address, and if you would please abide by our 3-minute rule, and I will go ahead and start a timer for that once you are acknowledged. Also, if it would be wonderful to cut down on background noise, if we could have everyone except for the commissioners mute themselves until they are acknowledged to speak. Because it looks like we have quite a few people online today. Okay, is there anyone from the public who would wish to be recognized to get in line for public participation? Is there anyone from the public? Okay, hearing none. Hearing none, we will move on to administrative responses to issues or questions raised during previous meetings. Mr. Johnson.
We only had one question that came up during public comment at the previous meeting. And that was, will property damaged by the sidewalk contractor be restored? Absolutely, damage to private property by the sidewalk contractor will be restored. That may not include damage to private property placed in the public right of way without authorization, though. Most common thing there is if somebody put a sprinkler system in and didn't get permission to do so and put it in the right of way.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to number 8, approval of minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes for the Mount Clemens City Commission work session and regular city commission meeting on October 5th, 2020.
Moved by Commissioner Hammond. Do I have a support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Fournier. Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, we will roll call, please.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodenough,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Menzer,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to general business. 9A, introduction and first reading of the amendment to the tree ordinance 35.100. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the introduction and first reading of amendments to ordinance 35.100 and set November 2nd, 2020 as the date for the second hearing and adoption.
Excellent. Moved by Commissioner Hammond. Is there a support?
Support.
Supported by, was that Commissioner Goodenough?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, this was discussed by the City Commission on September 21st, and direction was provided to administration and the city attorney that the commission would like to see amendments to the ordinance so that it is possible for a homeowner to remove a tree from the right of way in front of their property. The city attorney has provided language that allows for that with some input from Mr. Wood. So you have that before you. A correction to the actual motion. It does say second hearing. It should say second reading.
Do we need to change the motion, Mr. Johnson?
would
I don't
defer-
think so.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Okay, does anyone have any questions or comments about the tree ordinance, the first reading?
I have a question.
Okay, Mr. Campbell?
This is for Mr. Wood. Does Mr. Wood, has he think this is okay and this is a go? Since he's the one would be doing all of it.
Yeah, I went through the ordinance with Mike and those recommendations, I guess, if that's what the city commission wants to allow is fine.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions from Mr. Wood, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Murray?
No, I'm just going to say that I like the fact that they're going to require a permit to cut the tree down on the property, and that it has to be done by a licensed contractor who is, insured. So I think those are two good things that were added to this.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Goodenough,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Moving to agenda 9B, decline the DNR Trust Fund Grant Project Agreement. I would entertain a motion, please.
I move the City of Mount Clemens decline the DNR Trust Fund Grant Project Agreement for the reconstruction of Jones Street and to authorize the appropriate city officials to communicate this to the state DNR.
Okay, and moved by Commissioner Mentor. Is there support?
Support.
Moved by supported by Commissioner Hammond. Mr. Johnson, do you want to give us some background on this?
I'm gonna let Mr. Tingley, since he wrote the report, give you the background on it and the reason for the recommendation.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Obviously, there was a lot that went into kind of formalizing this recommendation. A lot of people had input on it. As you can see from the cover letter, there was a lot going on. Accepting the grant would encumber MacArthur Park and require it to be used for a public park in perpetuity. And really what this boiled down to is whether or not we thought that encumbering the park in that manner was worth the $225,000 that we would receive for the project. There were other factors in play, obviously, after acceptance or applying for the grant and being awarded. We were successful in receiving CDBG funds to replace the utility lines in that stretch. So we thought that utilizing those funds would then potentially free up the city to use water and sewer enterprise funds for the rebuild that could be less than what was originally planned. So that's really the kind of the background in terms of how the recommendation came to be. If the city commission was inclined to accept the grant, we would or we should table the item so that staff can prepare a resolution that the city commission would adopt to accept the grant. That resolution is required by the state DNR. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions or comments about the motion?
So this is Commissioner Fournier. I do have a question. So I'm trying to understand the original purpose of trying to get this grant was to fix that road, correct? Jones Street?
That is correct. To provide increased accessibility to the kayak launch. Yes.
Right. So now what are we going to replace that with if we don't take the grant?
The intent is still to do the project. The funding would just come from other sources.
Like what?
As indicated in the cover letter, we could use water and sewer funds because the project would originate as a utility project. There's also the potential to piggyback on funding that would occur on North River Road in 2021. So there are other potential funding sources, but the intent is still to move forward with the project.
So if we use money from the water and sewer fund, that would be, I mean, it's still going to come out of the city's pocket that way, right? I mean, we still have to be able to find it in the budget and be able to use it. And we know that the water department has already talked about needing a lot of updates, replacements, et cetera. So I would be surprised if they would have those extra funds even, and I do remember that the bonds were paid off, but it seems like we had a lot of projects there. So the main objection here is the fact that it will be a park in perpetuity. That's the problem, right?
That's part of it, correct? Yes.
What's the other part?
Well, no, that is the primary part. That is the reason. Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
I think the other part of the problem is that they, in their the grant, there are numerous restrictions on how you must operate the park, what the condition of the title of the property has to be, the environmental warranties, etc. And you cannot sell, convey, or do anything with any part of that park, not just the paving project that we're getting the grant for, any part of the park without their permission. And if you do so, and they give you their permission, you must replace the property with similar property of equal value. So the real issue becomes, is that entire parcel of property is $225,000 an adequate amount to, in effect, convey to the state that parcel of property? And I think the collective opinion of the administration is that it is not. The property is probably worth much more than that.
My question would be, I don't understand. I mean, we went through this grant process. It took 9 months. Why did we not know the stipulations of the grant previous?
Because Brian would know better than I would, but I sent Brian an email reviewing the agreement on August 31 of this year. So I believe he just got the actual agreement that they wanted executed.
So there was no
2 months ago.
There was no way to know these things previously, like before you applied?
Yeah, it's common practice for the DNR to encumber parks in this manner. We did not realize they were going to do that in this case because the work is actually occurring within the right-of-way of Jones Street. So we did not realize that they were going to encumber the entirety of MacArthur Park.
My opinion is that the park is a park and it's going to stay a park. I mean, we have no intention, we don't have any interest in anyone, taking over MacArthur Park. I just don't see why we would take money from our enterprise fund and use it when we have this money. I mean, I understand the issues, but I have a hard time turning away $225,000. What is, anyone else have any questions or comments?
Murray, could you just articulate that one more time? I mean, it's not just the fact that the DNR you have to leave it a park, but the DNR will tell you how you have to maintain the park, what you have to do.
Yes, they have a number of restrictions. Number one, they must approve all plans and changes to anything at the park. Number two, they must approve all fees for park use, and as it applies to non-residents and residents. Number three, it must be open to the general public. Number four, the city must hold title and fee simple, which means there's no reversionary interest. We would have to examine that through a title search. Number five, any conveyance of the property, and that includes by lease, must be approved by the state. Number 6, the project must be maintained in public outdoor recreation use in perpetuity. You cannot convert any portion of the property to any other use without state approval, and state approval will not be given unless property of equal market value is substituted. Then there's a number of environmental warranties that are contained in the agreement.
Goodness.
Does anyone have any questions?
This is Campbell here. I came in to talk to the city manager today regarding this because it all sounded kind of complicated. I mean, basically it's been a park since the beginning of time, so I don't see why there would be any changes in the future.
That I agree with. The thing that concerns me is all these other restrictions. I mean, not that we've ever discussed doing anything with that park, quite honestly, but what concerns me would be the other restrictions.
Have we ever in the history of, 202 years, have we ever had another DNR grant, and has the DNR ever enforced all of these things upon people?
We have received grants from the DNR. It's probably been 30, 40 years. I think we may have received some for Shady Side back in the 70s. I think Memorial Field at one point, but it's been quite a long time. And I can't speak to what their enforcement level is on these types of things.
Well, we just made some improvements to Shady Side. Did we have to consult the DNR?
We did not.
Okay.
And I think what this boils down to is we just want the city commission to be aware of what they're buying into by accepting the grant if they choose to do so.
I think it's an awful lot of money not to take.
So if we do take it, then what would we do with the money? What are we going to do with the money? What are we going to change over there? Are we going to improve the park?
Jones Street.
On Jones Street, thank you. Are we going to improve anything over there? I don't understand why we're not taking the money.
Don, do you want to explain the project, or Brian, maybe? Brian, do you want to explain do that for Wanda?
Sure. The project is a rebuild of Jones Street for increased accessibility, handicap accessibility to the kayak launch. It's basically a rebuild of that stretch of Jones Street. We will be adding a cul-de-sac at the end towards the kayak launch. Some additional sidewalks, but it's basically a rebuild of the street.
And the cul-de-sac the idea is that when people pull in with a trailer or with kayaks, it's difficult at this point to turn anything around because it doesn't have a rounded end. So the cul-de-sac would enable people to just do a loop in Jones Street, but down by the kayak launch.
Exactly.
So we don't think that that's needed over there? Is that why we're not taking the money, or it's just the restrictions is why we're not going to take the money?
The recommendation is based on the restrictions. As I indicated, the intent either way is to move forward with the project.
Sounds like it's just a matter, do we want to turn down the funds and just use city money, or accept the funds and do the project?
Do the project with restrictions. The strategic plan or anywhere, have we ever discussed doing anything with MacArthur Park other than being a park?
I mean, I guess if you want, no, I mean, not specifically MacArthur Park. I mean, we did talk about the riverfront as, making it, marketing the riverfront. I mean, I guess you could loop that in.
Yeah.
I suppose you could, but I don't think that was the intent of
I don't think so. Commissioner Menzer?
of the objective.
No, that was not the intent. When I brought up marketing and developing these waterfront property. It was primarily the city hall property, the fire department property, and the parking lot in between into a development that will generate tax dollars.
Right, okay.
And I did not think about including MacArthur Park because it is on the opposite side of the river, and that side of the river, is DDA property. Between Crocker and Dickinson, the West Bank is DDA property. So I had no thought of that.
Is there any other comments
One
or
more
questions?
question, sorry.
Yep,
One more
no, go
question.
ahead. Yeah.
So could it be developed as commercial property?
That would have to be rezoned, wouldn't it, Brian?
Well,
Yeah, I would have to confirm the zoning of that property. I'm not sure what the exact zoning of it is, but it could be developed in some manner.
that's really the question, isn't it? Because if we go for this grant, which again, $225,000 is a small price to pay for that piece of property, we're never going to be able to develop it. And
Well, it said, there were ways to, if you used a different parcel, or, if you dedicated a different parcel, there seemed like there were other ways. There were loopholes in the DNRs.
right.
And there is the vacant property to the east of the park that's been vacant for several years. I would imagine that would be developed, before there was interest in MacArthur Park.
What, Stilson Field is what you're referring to?
Right.
Well, Stilson will never sell it till he.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, so if we vote no, that means that we're going to get the grant.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Well, no.
It means that
We
we're,
have to vote no, and then we have to make a recommendation for
Correct.
the city administration to prepare an agreement, right, with the DNR.
Yeah,
No.
it would be a resolution. They have a standard resolution that they would use to accept the grant in the project agreement.
And in the agreement that we're discussing would be attached to that resolution. So it would come back before the city commission at a subsequent meeting for approval.
So a yes vote would be to decline the DNR trust fund grant,
Right.
and a no vote would be to accept.
Well, to not
Basically.
decline it.
No,
At
it's
this
not.
point, to not decline it. And then a yes vote will come before you at a subsequent meeting with the resolution and the actual agreement that's going to have to be executed.
thank you.
Is everyone clear on what a yes vote and a no vote means for this?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so if you
Can I ask
vote,
one more question, please?
yes, go ahead.
Mr. Murray, you
Yes.
are recommending against this?
I don't recommend on matters of this nature. I pointed out to Brian the number of issues that arise as a result of the agreement. And we discussed the fact that the property is probably worth more than the amount of the grant. But he decided that it should be brought to the commission, and the commission should make that decision.
So let me just explain further. If you are to vote yes on this agreement, you are declining the funds from the DNR.
Correct.
If you vote no, then we just defeat this agreement. And then we would have another motion that would,
7:30.
that would instruct or we could have another motion that would instruct Mr. Murray or shake your heads.
All you need to do is have a vote on whether or not you're going to decline the grant, period.
Okay.
If the vote on that motion is we are not going to decline the grant, then at a subsequent meeting, a resolution will be presented to you, a DNR resolution, along with the actual agreement that has to be executed.
Okay.
You're not going to really be voting on accepting it at this meeting.
Right. Okay. So is everyone clear on what a yes vote means and a no vote means right now?
Yes, I'm clear, but I have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
They mentioned that the land is worth more than what the grant is for.
Mhm.
But I don't understand what were the plans to do with the land or the park.
Well, Brian can answer that, but there
So, I
are
mean,
no,
yeah, there are no plans other than to keep it as a park currently.
Okay, thank you.
but the point is 5 years from now or 10 years from now, what will be, there might be a development, there might be things, and you are not going to be able at such time to do anything with this property if the grant is accepted. That's the whole purpose of pointing it out to the commission.
Well, we're not going to be able to do anything without going to the DNR first to ask for permission, correct?
That's correct. And as I read the permit, substituting a parcel of property of equal value.
Okay. Does anyone have any further questions? All right, hearing none. Roll call, please.
Hammond,
No,
Crop,
No.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
No,
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodenough.
No.
Motion fails.
Okay.
Motion fails 4-3, so we'll be bringing something back to you at a future meeting.
Okay, thank you. 9C, approve the agreement between the city and the DDA. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the agreement between the city and the DDA authorizing the city to provide an executive director, website, and social media marketing services to the DDA, and to authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the same.
support.
Moved by Commissioner Menser, supported by Commissioner Campbell. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, this is something that we've had before the DDA at, I think, 3 or 4 meetings. And it finally got approved by the DDA at their meeting this month. Brian prepared the report. I think he's prepared to go through it with you to identify the services we're going to be providing.
Mr. Tingley?
Well, thank you, Mr. Johnson and Madam Mayor. As Mr. Johnson indicated in the cover letter, we did list some bullet points just in terms of areas where we can provide assistance. But obviously, the DDA has not had an executive director since 2012. So this would provide that service at a significantly reduced cost. We would be looking at increased collaboration and streamlined decision-making between the DD and city administration, freeing up the marketing and events coordinator person to focus on those items instead of the day-to-day administrative tasks. We would look at developing an annual work program with the DDA board that would align with the annual budget and the general development plan. And other things that I think are important are, succession planning and the retention of institutional knowledge. If there's a large turnover among DDA board members. And then again, the last one being that the collaboration with our DDA on social media, branding and other digital marketing efforts. And again, if you do recall, we do have Kate Bell, who is a CDAM fellow that's with the city through the end of next September. And she would be able to provide assistance in this transition. Some of the things we're looking at doing are working on establishing a new ordinance that would streamline our outdoor dining program. She would be assisting with identifying funding opportunities for public improvements in the downtown. Working on projects directly related to the downtown, such as art space. She has already begun working on an internal database of commercial properties within the city, including those within the DDA that we could use to help market our properties. There is a 30-day termination clause for the DDA and a 128-day termination clause for the city. So, in the future, if we feel this isn't working out, this agreement is not tying us to anything necessarily long-term. So I am excited excited for this partnership, if you will. I think there are a lot of good opportunities that will come from this, having that kind of commingling and that streamlined decision-making process. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Will that allow you to concentrate more on business attraction and business retention?
Well, yeah, I mean, business attraction and business retention are definitely, facets of an economic development program. There are limits to those things based on, staff resources and funding. Our DDA definitely does not operate on the level that other DDAs might in the Metro Detroit area, like a Ferndale or a Royal Oak, who have multi-million-dollar DDA budgets. There is limited funding that the DDA has to work with, and I think it's a matter of figuring out what makes the most sense in terms of how those dollars are spent. But we would certainly look towards assisting our existing businesses and identifying challenges that they may have, and then again, marketing the city and the downtown as a business attraction tool.
We are also looking at a partnership between the city, the DDA, and the county. And that's not included in this, but it is something that we are also looking for in terms of, Brian, you might want to speak to that a little bit in terms of economic development.
Yeah, and that was discussed at the DDA board meeting, and I think the DDA is also interested in that, but it would be a fee-based service that the city and or DDA or a combination would partner with the county, that they would provide some very targeted economic development activities for the city and the downtown. And that's definitely something that we would continue to explore, even if this agreement is approved tonight.
Also, I think that this, along with the exploration of the partnership with the county, are all items from our strategic plan and completely align with that. And so I just wanted to add that in.
Brian, doesn't the county already maintain a database of commercial properties and already has included Mount Clemens properties? I believe Jack John.
Yeah, they have this goes back several years. It was called their Prime Properties tool that they included a handful of downtown properties on. I don't know how much activity that tool receives from site consultants or developers. The county also has access to fee-based commercial property services. And that was another discussion that we were going to have with them in terms of access to some of those fee-based databases.
Does anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Tingley, Mr. Johnson, myself. Okay, hearing or seeing none, we will roll call, please.
Crop,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodenough,
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
Agenda item number 9D, approve the purchase of the special assessment software module. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to authorize the purchase the BSNA special assessment module at a cost of $3,985 plus $1,000 for implementation and training and $305 for estimated travel and expenses.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Hammond, supported by Commissioner Menser. Are there any questions? Sorry, Mr. Johnson.
I think the report basically speaks for itself. If we're going to move into doing multiple year assessments especially, we need a system to keep track of it. I don't want to do it manually. And this is not one of the packages that we purchased from BSNA when we got involved with BSNA software, but they offer a very nice package for keeping track of assessments and multi-year assessments. And we'd like to purchase it if we're going to do this.
Okay, are there any questions for Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, I just had a question on the chart that's provided for the sidewalk replacement. I find it intriguing and very interesting that there are multiple references to homeowner came into city hall permits and wanted city contractor to do the work. Property owner previously pulled their own permit. I think that people, I think this indicates that people believe that they could get this work done cheaper on their own, and they are finding that that is not true, especially when you have the consistency of quality that our current contractor Luigi does. I just found that pretty intriguing.
Commissioner Menser, I also think it was from speaking at the River Acres neighborhood meeting, and I think Mr. Johnson can speak to this as well. Many of the members felt as though they had to make a decision very quickly because they had about 2 weeks after they got the letter that they had to make decisions. And we had a date where if they didn't pull a permit to go somewhere else, then they wouldn't be able to do that. So a lot of them got on the list of not going with our contractor so they could buy some time to explore because they only had about 2 weeks. So I think it's a combination of maybe what you're speaking to, but I also think it's to buy some time so that they could do that. So a recommendation that came out of those meetings was people need more time to better evaluate what's the best course of action.
I think it might also help if we provide more information up front too, when we send out initial notices. In this case, you know, we do have bid prices that Luigi provided based on doing a fairly substantial amount of work. But also the pricing that we've got is not covering the total cost. So this is, you know, the rates we're charging is actually a subsidized rate. And also we don't make a distinction between driveway flags and other flags here, even though there is a difference in the amount of concrete poured. Sidewalk flags that cross a driveway have to be 6 inches thick because they have to stand up to vehicles, where a normal sidewalk flag is 4 inches thick. Some places, including my previous employer, charged a different rate to the resident, depending on whether it was a driveway flag or not. Here, we've just averaged it out and gone with one fixed rate to charge the homeowners.
Does anyone have any other questions?
Yes, thank you for clarifying that, Mayor Krapp. And I have a question. Has the residents been notified about the assessment?
Well, they were notified about that in the initial letter, but they have not received the list that we provided to you yet, because this is not a final list. We'll get that. We're supposed to get the final list on November 2nd, which means that we would be notifying the residents and planning to bring it to the commission on November 16th.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Menzer,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodenough,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop.
Yes. Agenda item 9E, second reading and adoption of ordinance extending DDA plan. I will entertain a motion.
I move to open the public hearing on the DDA plan. No, I'm sorry, the DDA plan amendment. Is that the correct one? Hold on.
Okay. You're good.
That's not the recommended motion.
Yeah, that's not it.
It's not a
Yeah, I
public
think so.
hearing.
That's why I paused.
Yeah, it's not a public hearing. So,
I move to adopt the attached ordinance extending the DDA plan.
okay, moved by Commissioner Menzer. The support,
Support.
supported by Commissioner Fournier. Does anyone, oh, sorry, Mr. Johnson, do you want to explain?
At the October 5th meeting, we held a public hearing on amending the DDA ordinance, and we presented the ordinance for first reading. The commission adopted a resolution recognizing that the ordinance had achieved first reading and scheduled October 19th for second reading and the final vote on amending the plan and ordinance. Basically, this amends the plan to extend its duration. By its current terms, the plan would expire on June 30th, 2021. And basically, if we allowed the plan to expire, the DDA can no longer capture tax increment revenues and can no longer operate. So we are recommending that the DDA plan be extended. The appropriate motion has already been made. I would like to bring to your attention that Jeff Aronoff is still online for this issue. So if you have specific questions like addressed to the attorney who drafted it, he is available.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments?
I would like to see this include what we have published as the DDA plan on our website. I would like to see a specific effort in business attraction and business retention. And I would like to see us or the DDA increase the security in the downtown. As I mentioned the last time, that plan specifically includes some kind of video surveillance. I think that's, like something like a green path that they use in Detroit and other communities, because I think we are beyond just simply the bar car. My brother ran the bar car 10 years ago. So, I'd like to see, especially if we're going to have outdoor furniture and outdoor eating, that some kind of a security plan is looked at in the, with this renewal.
Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing or hearing none, we will take a roll call, please.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodenough,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Menzer.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to item 9F, approve purchases and payments of invoices.
Motion to approve purchases and payment of invoices as presented.
Moved by
Support.
Commissioner Campbell, supported by Commissioner Fournier. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Hearing none. Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodenough,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Menzer,
yes,
Voorhees.
Yes.
Agenda item 10, consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
Moved by Commissioner Campbell, supported by Commissioner, is that good enough?
Hammond.
Hammond, sorry, thank you. You two are the quiet ones.
Just for tonight for me.
Roll call, please.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodenough,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Menzer,
yes,
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Agenda item 11, city manager's report. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Executive orders. Big thing that happened in the last couple of weeks was back on October 2nd, the Michigan Supreme Court struck down all of the governor's executive orders related to the COVID pandemic. Many of these have been revived by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services as emergency epidemic orders. I provided a link where those can be found, and also a link where a pretty nice survey done by MLive can be found. An issue that's been a particular concern for us is local government's authority to hold remote meetings like this one. New legislation, which started off as Senate Bill 1108, has been approved, which amends the Open Meetings Act, and it has been signed by the governor. So we're operating under actual authority of the Open Meetings Act now, rather than under authority of a governor's executive order. Hybrid meetings, this was supposed to be a hybrid meeting. And up until about 4:30 today, we thought it was going to be, but we ran into technical difficulties, and this was done as a pure Zoom meeting again. The meeting in 2 weeks will need to be a Zoom meeting because we do not have commission chambers available. So we'll probably be trying again on November 16th. Firefighter hiring status. I noted that I'd signed the paperwork last Thursday for 3 new firefighters who were scheduled to start work today. They were sworn in today at 4 o'clock. I believe all of the commissioners were present for that. So you have had the opportunity to see and meet our 3 new firefighters who are already working. And this week they're working on an 8 to 5 basis. Next week they get assigned to their shifts. Actually, they've been assigned, but next week they start their shift work. And there'll be one of them going to each of the 3 shifts. Parks and Rec Advisory Board had its initial meeting on October 12th. Sandra Graber was elected as chair. Major topic of discussion was the future of the Carnes Community Center, which is also sometimes still known as the Jermaine Jackson Community Center. Situation there is the schools very definitely want to get rid of it. They've had offered it to Advancing Macomb. Advancing Macomb doesn't seem to feel that they're really in a position to take it. They very much want the city to take it back. I have not been willing to do so without some guarantees about where we're going to get funding for to operate it. So that's kind of where we're looking right now with Advancing Macomb trying to bring us a funding source that give us the money to be able to operate it if we take it back. Shouldn't say take it back because we never actually owned the building. We do own the land and it's leased to the school district right now. But the building was built by the schools, not by the city.
The city owns it. The city owns the whole thing.
Yeah, I understand that position. Yes.
And Mr. Murray, it's just a point of
Right.
clarity. They could also just, the school district could just walk away from the lease, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But I think well, there's
It's
a
another
history.
discussion.
There's a history to the whole thing that I think
Yeah.
should be explored.
Another discussion for another day, right?
Yeah. Note the Planning Commission also did their first remote meeting on October 6th. Up until now, they've been canceling their meetings during COVID, but they actually had something that they needed to deal with on the agenda, and they approved a site plan for the former Macomb Daily building. That issue will come before the commission eventually, because I know the developer that wants to build there is going to be asking for a pilot, and that it can only be approved by the city commission. Special events, the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer event that was scheduled for October 24th has been canceled. And then we've got the upcoming agendas.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Johnson? Okay, hearing none. We'll move on. Oh, go ahead.
I was on mute. Is the Macomb Daily building plan going to be some type of housing?
Yes. And
Thank
it's
you.
The same firm that you've recently heard from before, Wuda Cooper.
Wuda, okay. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to public participation. We ask that if you are interested in participation, then are a member of the public, we ask that you give us your first name so that you can get in line. Once we acknowledge you, we will ask for your full name, your address, and ask that you abide by our 2-minute rule. Is there anyone from the public who would like to participate at this time?
Thomas Barnes.
Okay, Thomas. Is there anyone else? Okay, hearing none. Thomas, can you give us your full name, your address, and then we'll start your time.
Thomas Barnes, 291 Jones Street. I would like to address Mr. Murray's last comments. I would like to ask if the city already owns the now Carnes Community Center, all of the property and the building, and the school has already addressed the fact that they do not want to retain the building anymore, why would the city not then take possession of said building because the city already owns the property? That's all.
Okay.
You want a response, Mayor?
I mean, if you're so inclined, sure. Yeah.
Or do you want to wait for administrative responses at the next meeting? In a nutshell, number one, the school district would have to formally, in some way, renounce the lease and work out some type of arrangement with the city to surrender the property. The city's options at that point in time may be more than merely just taking the property back. That's one of the foremost reasons. And a secondary reason, obviously, is as Mr. Johnson already indicated, the city could certainly take it back, but is the city going to operate it as a community center?
Okay, thank you very much. That was our last public participation, so we'll go ahead and move on to agenda item 13, commissioners' comments. We'll go ahead and start with Mr. Campbell.
You can see from the agenda that the city has been very busy, all the employees. So I want to say thank you to all of them, particularly the clerk's office with the upcoming election. So City Clerk Borges and Assistant City Clerk Martin have been very busy running a smoothless election as always. So I just want to say thank you to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Voorhees.
Yes, I would first of all like to commend everyone who answered the census. Hopefully, we'll have some good numbers coming back when the Census Bureau issues their results. Also, I would like to echo Commissioner Campbell's comments about the city clerk's office. They do a tremendous job. No one has to worry about their ballot being counted. You get it to the city, it's guaranteed that it's going to get counted. Please don't be intimidated by what's happening on the news. Get your ballot, mark it. You know, the best method is to take it downtown and drop it in the drop box, either in the city hall parking lot or bring it in the building. And certainly the city clerk will take care of it. I was glad to be at the swearing-in ceremony of the firemen. Hopefully we are now getting closer and closer to full staffs. I think that's going to be great. And with that, once a Clemite, always a Clemite.
Thank you. Commissioner Hammond.
Thank you. Very well said, Commissioner Voorhees. I would like to see the community center, someone take responsibility for the community center. I would hate to see it just to be a standalone building. Also, I would like to thank Caleb for helping beautify our city. And also always remember to get out there and vote because it's a very important election. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Commissioner Menzer.
So I am very happy that after over a year of waiting, we are filling these firefighter spots. These guys have been working shorthanded for over a year now. So they are all excited. And to the new firefighters, you are going to work with some really great guys with skills and experience and honor and integrity. I don't think you understand how lucky you are, but we are also lucky to have you. Caleb, that sign is awesome. The landscaping is awesome. Thank you so much for all of your efforts. It was a wonderful thing that you did. And quite frankly, the Macomb Daily building has been empty for 30 years. I am really looking forward to seeing what that plan is. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Goodenough.
Yes, I just wanted to piggyback off what Commissioner Hammond said. It would be such a great loss to the community if we can't do something with the Carnes Center over there. I would hope that we could come up with a conclusive decision on trying to secure it so that we can have some type of center for the kids over there in that area and other kids that would want to come. And to piggyback off of Commissioner Voorhees, yes, this is a very crucial election year, and to get out and vote, and have a good night.
Thank you. Commissioner Fournier.
Well, I just would like to say, actually, I agree with all my fellow commissioners and everything they said. A special shout out though to Caleb and congratulations on becoming an Eagle Scout. That's quite an achievement, and he just did an incredible job, and we are all so appreciative. Congratulations to our new firefighters. It was very nice to meet them, and I wish them only the best as they move forward in their careers here, and to their families. It was very nice to meet them as well. And obviously, we all have heard it, we all know it, but voting is so incredibly important for everyone. And we could do it with a lot of ease this year. I mean, it is, you know, you're not restricted to one day or a lot of deadlines. So let's all take advantage of those opportunities and make sure that you get out there and vote. And I have every confidence, as do the rest of the commissioners, that our city clerk's office will do a great job, as they always have done. Thanks so much. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. I too, again, would like to thank Caleb Mallory. He really went above and beyond in that Eagle Scout project, and to all the people that supported Caleb's project. I know that many of the commissioners, I know that many of the businesses all really came through and helped him in his fundraising efforts. Beautification committee spent tons of time with him in terms of figuring out the plan for the landscaping. Just so many people. Wild Bill's sign helped with the big sign that's now there. So so many people. I hope I didn't forget anyone that really came through and helped him make this project a reality. But the bottom line is Caleb saw a need in the community, and through a lot of tenacity and perseverance, especially with being almost derailed by COVID and a lot of different weather issues, and then quarantining. So he really, and then today for our dedication, it was rainy and the poor kid could not catch a break, but he didn't give up. So I'm really so proud that he made it to the finish line. So congratulations, Caleb. I would like to thank, I should say today was a really incredible day in the city. There were a lot of really positive things happening. It started very early this morning with CBS News came to town. They were there to broadcast their CBS News This Morning program. They were really just here to talk about the election and Macomb County's importance in that election. But while they were here, they really did showcase some of our beautiful buildings, and they were able to give a few shout outs to some local businesses that fed them, and we had some nice signage in the background. So Mount Clemens really was shed in a beautiful light. So I was really proud that happened. Then also, we had the Caleb Mallory Eagle Scout dedication this afternoon, and then we had 3 new firemen sworn in and two lieutenants sworn in. So a huge thank you to the new firemen for coming on board, and we're so excited that you're here and wish you a safe career and good health. I would also like to mention that if any commissioners or any people of the public have any interest in, changes to the DDA, some things were said about the DDA plan. The DDA is open to suggestions, open to critiques, and any kind of. I know my door is open. I know Mickey Weiss's door is open. Now Brian Tingley's door is open. But to just complain, I think, is perpetuating the problem. And so I think that, being part of the solution is key. I also would like to say our clerk's office is doing a phenomenal job in making sure that our election has integrity and accurate. So please make sure that you vote. But I would say this: if you have taken out an absentee ballot and you plan to mail it, you need to do it as quickly as possible, because we all know that the post office is experiencing slow delivery times. So please do not rely on the post office. We have a drop box that is 24 hours, 7 days a week, right outside of City Hall. Please make sure to get that ballot into the box, into the drop box, to just ensure. There is a way that you can track the status of your ballot, and we have posted that previously on our Facebook page, and we'll do it again. Please make sure that you are doing the best to get your ballot to us as quickly as possible. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, sorry, a motion to go into executive session.
Move to go into executive session.
Moved by Commissioner
Support.
Fournier, I'm sorry,
Support.
supported by Commissioner Menzer. Roll call, please.
Goodenough,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crab,
Yes.
Menzer,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Okay, we will all move into executive session. Those who wish to wait may wait in this room. Go ahead.
What do we,
You should all see a little window that just opened on your screen, or not all, but all the commissioners inviting you into a breakout room for the executive session. To do it, just click on join. And when we finish the executive session, you'll click on leave to come back.
We will entertain a motion for the consent agenda. I'm sorry, the consent motion.
regarding the Victorian?
Yes, regarding the Victorian.
Okay, move to approve the first amended consent judgment in Macomb County Circuit Case number 2016-001-CH.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Fournier, supported by Commissioner Campbell. Any questions or comments?
Yes, thank you to the attorney for his hard work.
Second that.
Yes, thank you. I think this is going to be I'm hoping for an excellent outcome. Excellent. Okay. Roll call, please.
Crab,
Yes.
Menzer,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodenough,
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Voorhees, supported by Commissioner Campbell. Roll call, please.
Menzer,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Goodenough,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crab.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned. Have a great night. Be
Good night,
safe.
everyone.